Now, I've talked about the heart before, but what I haven't talked about is the heart valves. So that's what we're going to do today, heart valves. And we've got two different categories of heart valves. We have atrioventricular, and we also have semilunar. So I'm going to talk about the atrioventricular valves first. So in our heart, we have these valves to basically prevent the backflow of blood. You might see it written in your training manual, or if you Google it, as also to ensure the one-way flow of blood. So same thing, prevent the backflow of blood or ensure the one-way flow of blood, same thing. So that's what they do. Now the atrioventricular, if you look at the word, it looks quite similar to atrium and ventricles, and that's because it is. The atrioventricular valves prevent the backflow of blood from atria to ventricle. So that's why it's called that. Now specifically, it's referring to the tricuspid valve and the bicuspid valve. So I'm just going to write that underneath. Tricuspid and the bicuspid. Bicuspid. Yep, that's right. Okay, so as you're looking at the heart, don't forget, as you see it, the left side is actually the right. So quickly do another diagram. So this would be the right side, not the left as you're seeing it. So that's the right atrium, the right ventricle, the left atrium, and the left ventricle. So the atrioventricular valves you would see around here. This is your tricuspid. And then this one here would be the bicuspid. So the tricuspid valve prevents the backflow of blood from ventricle to atrium, and the bicuspid valve prevents the backflow of blood from well, this is from the left ventricle to the left atrium, and obviously tricuspid is from the right ventricle to the right atrium. So that's the atrioventricular valves, but what are the semilunar valves? Well, the semilunar valves prevent the backflow of blood from the arteries into the ventricles. Now, you'll probably remember from one of my last videos is that the right ventricle contracts and sends blood out the pulmonary artery to the lungs to pick up oxygen. So that is where we don't want this backflow of blood. So we have what's called the pulmonary valve. Let's write it here. Pulmonary valve, and that one will prevent the backflow of blood from the pulmonary artery back into the right ventricle. Can you remember where the left ventricle sends blood? It goes around the body via the thickest, strongest artery in the body, which was the aorta. So the aorta has its own valve, which prevents the backflow of blood from the aorta into the left ventricle, and that is called the, let's write it here, aortic valve. So that's your 4 valves that you need to understand or learn to pass your level 3 anatomy and physiology exam. The 2 categories are, we've got the atrioventricular, which is the tricuspid and bicuspid. You've got the semilunar valves, which covers the aortic valve and the pulmonary valve.